I wanted to show you how to create your portfolio using Bridge to create a PDF file for being able to present from. So I want to show that and also show you a couple of different ways of laying it out so that it will look maybe a little bit nicer depending on how you want to do it. So first thing up is I really think that you should have a title slide that will be the first thing that they'll see when they open it up. And I've created one in Photoshop here just to give you an example of how that might look here. This title slide is set up as being 3000 by 2000 pixels in Photoshop, and I simply took one of my images, drug it in, put in a title for it here, and put some contact information. You can put further contact information here if you'd like to as well. You can just call it, put your name, and then I really probably should have put portfolio underneath my name on it there just so that it's not all one line like that. But you can lay it out however you like to. Again, to set it up as 3000 by 2000 pixels, and then just lay out your content the way that you want to on it there. So we have that. The other option for the rest of the images in the portfolio, one option is to be able to just take your images and have them shown full screen onto the display for the PowerPoint, kind of like this. Okay. Another option that you can do is to go ahead and, again, in Photoshop, set up a template where you can be able to drop your images in and be able to give it a title if you'd like to. So in this case, I've set up again that 3000 by 2000 pixel canvas, and then drew in some guidelines to help make sure everything's nice and centered up the way I like it to, and then added the text to go at the bottom of it as well. Either way works fine. I kind of like this one just because you can have room to be able to add any text that you may want to add with the images there. It maybe looks a little bit more like the portfolio, a matted image rather than just a plain image on it there. But you know, it's okay either way. You may rather have that full screen image being able to show up on it there. So either way, you would just use Photoshop to create these, and then you would have your portfolio of images. The nice thing, if you're doing something like this, you can save this kind of as a template, and then all you have to do is just reopen and drop in new images on each one to be able to fill it in and then add new text. So that's okay as well. So to create the PDF, so we need to change from our Essentials view, which is what I'm in right now, over to the Output view. So up at the top here, you may have to pull down here to be able to see it, but we're going to the Output tab. And in the Output portion here, we have different templates that you can use to create different styles. So in here, there's a default one for something called maximum size. So maximum size is just going to try to fill out the page and maybe leave just a little bit of border as needed depending on the image. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this, but I'm going to modify it just a little bit to help with sizing and making sure our file is not too big for being able to display. So it comes up with the default size of A4. I'm changing that to letter size. Okay, so it gives me the 8.5 by 11 inches here. I want it to be landscape because the way our monitors are set up. So that'll be a better setup for it there. You can change the background color if you'd like. I'm just going to leave it with the white. And I'm going to drop the resolution down to 150 simply to help with the file size. It'll still be plenty of resolution for screen and viewing on it there. Okay. Rest of the options that are in here, we really don't need any names, or we're not going to change the grid or the margins or add a footer or put a watermark on anything. Watermark you could add if you're doing this for a customer, but in this case we're showing off our work, so we don't want that. Under PDF properties here, we want to make sure we want to go ahead and set it to open in full screen mode. We do not want it to advance. We just want to be able to do it ourselves on it there. And you probably don't want to put any transitions at this point for being able to do that too. So we have that set there. All I need to do now is to add my images into the presentation. So if I was going to do with the ones that I have already laid out here, I can drop those three in, and you can see what they would look like in the slideshow. This, if you can imagine that being full screen, which I could go full screen, but if you can imagine how that's going to look with a little bit of a border around it, which is kind of nice, kind of framing the image out a little bit. The other option would be to leave that title slide, and instead of using the ones I have here, I'm just going to go ahead and select out some other images here. And we're just going here, and I also have a vertical image, so you'll see what that looks like in that same template. And I'm just going to take and drag those into it as well. If I go back to slide 1, there is our main page, and we can go through, see them. You'll see there's the vertical image and how it appears onto the page itself. So that works okay. All right, so I've got my images in. I'm ready to go ahead and save this out. So I'm going to go down to Export to PDF, which is in the bottom right of the screen. Click on that. Choose where I'm going to save it to, and I've already got the folder that I'm saving to there. And I'm just going to put in portfolio test for this class. And then I'm just going to go ahead and save that into it. So my program is set up to automatically open in Adobe Bridge. It's going to pop up here, and I'm just going to tell it, yes, it's okay to go to full screen mode. And it'll open up here to show my portfolio and show the images in a full screen mode. You'll see that it has a little white border around, but that to me works really well. That way I make sure I have full image bleed, and I don't have to worry about, you know, cutting off any parts of the images on it like that. And I think that looks pretty nice as is. Okay. All right, so there's that whole portfolio, and that's about it. There's just a simple portfolio using the PDF format, using Bridge to be able to create it. It's a pretty simple layout. You can choose your files, drop them in, and have your template all set, ready to go.